Hydroxychloroquine, HCQ, is the one drug the entire world is trying to get its hands on. India produces the large majority of this drug globally. Donald Trump, the American president, asked for HCQ, which had been put on an export ban list. Prime Minister Modi agreed, and the export obligations will be met. Then we received a letter from President Bolsonaro in Brazil, who called Prime Minister Narendra Modi's action akin to Lord Hanuman on Hanuman Jayanti, saying that hydroxychloroquine is like the Sanjeevani booty, it could save lives. At this moment, a massive wartime effort is underway to try and pump up the production of hydroxychloroquine so that not just can we take care of our own needs, but also those of our friends. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to speak to doctors who have used hydroxychloroquine over the past few weeks to understand their sense. Remember, there's no research study available at this moment, but it's been used anecdotally. We'll try and understand from them whether it worked on their patients, what were the side effects which people are scared about. Also, we'll speak to pharma majors to understand how much supply do we have, how much production can we increase, how much can we afford to export. So we look at all of that, but here's first a report on how a massive effort is underway at this moment to enhance the production of hydroxychloroquine.
As the world battles coronavirus outbreak, India's hydroxychloroquine has become the Sanjeevani booty for the United States and Brazil. While American President Donald Trump thanked Prime Minister Modi for agreeing to export the anti-malaria drug.
We have more than 29 million doses, and that's a lot. And we have others. I spoke with Prime Minister Modi. They have a lot of it comes out of India, and I asked him if it would be okay if he released it. He was great. He was really good. It was, they put a stop because they want it for India. But there's a lot of good things coming from that. A lot of people are looking at it and saying, there's just, I don't hear bad stories. I hear good stories, and I don't hear anything where it's causing death.
Brazilian president compared India's efforts to that of Hanuman saving Lakshman's life with Sanjeevani booty. But is India ready to export hydroxychloroquine in times of COVID emergency? Hydroxychloroquine is produced in large quantities in India and is fairly inexpensive and was available over the counter. In global market, India is one of the leading producers and exporters of hydroxychloroquine. Authorities say India is ramping up production of hydroxychloroquine to 20 crore units a week, something the country was manufacturing in a year before. India will keep a buffer stock of 10 crore tablets of hydroxychloroquine. And manufacturers are ready to hike production to 25 crore a month if need arises. There is enough stock in the country of raw materials for hydroxychloroquine. Shipment of immediate chemicals required for the anti-malaria drug has already begun from China. Government sources tell India Today that there is an approximate buffer stock of about 1 crore units of hydroxychloroquine in the market.
Linking it with the fact that how much is the production as well as the API availability in the country, it is ensured that not only today, even in future, there will not be any lack of HCQ as and when needed.
Indian pharmaceutical companies are raising monthly production of the anti-malarial drug 4 times to 40 metric tons by the end of this month and 5 to 6 times to over 70 metric tons by next month. Peak capacity would produce 35 crore tablets of 200 mg dosage every month. But drug makers say lockdown restrictions need to be eased to meet 100% production capacity. What's needed most is labor, most of who have already migrated to their villages.
So at present, due to the non-availability of the migrant labor, capacity is just starting from the 30 to 40%. As soon as the lockdown will be over and logistic problem can be sorted out, capacity at 100% will be start soon.
According to some studies, hydroxychloroquine has shown strong antiviral effects on the coronavirus infection. Can it then be used to combat COVID-19 till a vaccine is developed? With Milan Sharma and Anand Patel, Bureau Report, India Today.
I'm going to get into three very important perspectives with three people who covered different areas of the HCQ puzzle. Sailesh Haribhakti is a well-known face of India Inc., independent director at Torrent Pharmaceuticals, one of the companies that's at the forefront of trying to provide medicines on a war footing. With us also is Dr. Sundar Bhandari. He's the principal of the Savai Mansingh Medical College. He is amongst the team of doctors that have used hydroxychloroquine in India, and he can explain how effective he felt HCQ was in dealing with COVID-19. The third gentleman on your screen is Abhay Soy. He's the chairperson of one of India's biggest hospital chains, Max Hospital. So, hi, Mr. Haribhakti, I come to you first. How much of HCQ you believe will we be able to produce? We know that Brazilian president, the American president, European world leaders are asking Prime Minister Modi for supplies of HCQ. Everyone who's watching is saying, fantastic, we're very happy to give HCQ. Will we be able to produce enough to meet our own requirements? What's your view, sir? Welcome.
A very definite yes. The government of India's policy is very explicit. The important policy element is that first all the demands in India will be met, and only where under conditions that we are able to produce the larger quantities, which as of today are perhaps constrained by the lockdown conditions. Once the production is ramped up and we have enough capacity to ramp it up, there will be exports which will be released on a case-to-case basis. And I think this is a very well laid out, very sensible policy. India will meet its global obligations as a leading country in the fight against COVID. The whole world has to come together in this tremendous war that we are waging. And therefore, India will play its part, and India is ready to play its part.
But are you able to manufacture this time? There's a lockdown nationally. A lot of the companies we've been speaking to, including in the pharma sector, have been complaining that their technicians, their scientists, their doctors aren't being able to come. Manufacturing is impacted. Are those supply chains restored? Has manufacturing started at 100% of capacity?
Well, it is ramping up as we speak. The district authorities, the government, the state government authorities and all are providing the necessary support function to make sure that factories can remain open under conditions of safety for the workmen, and making sure that we don't endanger any of the people who are going to be working on this very important production. And with all the support and with the cooperation of the authorities, I think the ramp up of production is likely to happen and will happen, and India will play its global role in this very important issue.
Sailesh Haribhakti for joining me tonight. Thank you very much. Dr. Sudhir Bhandari, you are amongst the very few doctors in India who've actually had first-hand experience in using COVID-19. Now, Donald Trump says his gut tells him that this medicine works. It's got magic in it. His own advisor says he's not sure. Dr. Fauci, whenever he's asked this question, he says, we're not certain, there's no evidence, it's only anecdotal, it may work, it may not work. Tell me, how many patients did you administer COVID-19 to? How did that go? Were there any side effects? What impact did you see on that patient after administering this medicine?
I must share with you, we were lucky to be the first few doctors who used the chloroquine. Indian doctors are very used to using hydroxychloroquine. We have been using this drug for over the ages in the malaria, etc. We were very lucky to start using hydroxychloroquine as a first drug in the first COVID patients. It is a very safe drug. It definitely has antiviral properties, and we checked up the literature. It definitely has a lot of preventive role in pulmonary complication. Now, anything to say and document like this, we require a lot of big trials and documentation. But our results, well supported by literature of hydroxychloroquine preventing the viral load, making the corona negative, making the respiratory symptoms subside, the results were so encouraging to begin with that we started having a protocol of drugs which included hydroxychloroquine on forefront. There has been a trial in the France also which shows hydroxychloroquine, if coupled up with the azithromycin, has a great advantage. Now, whenever you use a drug, it has to be under total medical supervision. Side effects have to be taken care of. But if I tell you the ratio of benefits versus side effects is all in favor of good advantage of hydroxychloroquine, which is a very safe drug except the mild monitoring it requires. You'll be happy to know so far we used in more than 112 patients, out of which 68 have turned to be seronegative. I would still reiterate that it is our initial experience.
But that's just a little bit more than 50%. Please tell me what happened to the others. One second, sir. The ratio you mentioned is just a little bit more than 50.
No,
you gave it to 120 plus. What happened to the others?
50% is no. 50% have already turned negative, and remaining 50% have been improving. Can you believe out of the 112 patients, none of the patients required ventilator? The pneumonia is improving. I don't give sole credit to hydroxychloroquine, but this was the first drug which we used, and then we coupled up other antiviral drug. So to begin with, I would say it was a prudent to share our experience with the rest of the world. A lot of literature support the antiviral effectivity. Lot of new literature has come which prevents the lesser chances of pulmonary
Dr. Sudhir Bhandari,
pneumonia, the breathlessness.
for joining us. Thank you so much.
Known as ARDS.
Really appreciate you joining us with your thoughts. So you're a strong advocate very clearly, and you've personally administered the drug and you speak highly of it. Abhay Soy runs Max Hospitals as its chairperson. Abhay, welcome. Now, everyone who's watching would be delighted that we're helping those in need, and that the American president thinks India has done a favor, the Brazilian president thinks India has done a favor, which is fantastic. As someone who understands not just what's happening at Max, but the entire healthcare sector, are our hospitals well stocked for HCQ for those patients who are administered HCQ because they have arthritis or any other problem? How much supply of HCQ do you have at your hospital and from your information at other big chains? Abhay?
Yes. Hi.
Hi. So my question was, how much supply of HCQ do you have at Max Hospital, and what do you know about the availability of HCQ nationally at this time? Will every patient who's watching, if he needs HCQ administered as a prescription to him, is HCQ adequately available with hospitals in your view, sir?
So not only is HCQ more than adequately available with our hospitals, but we believe with most hospitals, municipalities, government hospitals, and so on and so forth. Just to give you some statistics, the government of India has gone on record to say that they will hold about 100 million, which is about 10 crore tablets, and that should serve up till 3,000 people per million population in India. If 3,000 people per million were to get infected in India. Just to put it into perspective, in the US today, 1,000 people per million are infected. So I think we have more than adequate. The total production would be about a 20-day production for every 1,000 per million people. So I really don't think I think it's a non-issue, to be very honest.
So you're saying this is a non-issue. We just had a doctor explain how hydroxychloroquine worked really well to the patients he administered the drug to. Then why is there still a debate? Why is it that Dr. Trump's own advisor says he's not sure, he's not advocating it? President Trump says it comes from my gut, but there's no data. You're speaking to all the doctors in your team. What's the flip side? Why is it that you're telling people who are watching at this time, if you're not prescribed this, the worst thing you can do is try and go to a pharmacy and try and buy it off the shelf? Why is that idea dangerous? What's the flip side, sir?
Look, Rahul, I'm not a doctor, but, when we speak to our counterparts, other healthcare systems globally, and some are very, very well-renowned hospitals and so on and so forth, this is what they're using as well. And, like earlier, the good doctor alluded to the fact that, look, it's not you and me making a statement, but when the scientific community makes a statement, it happens on a body of work. So there has to be history, there has to be data over a period of time for it to be established. So, a layperson can say, yes, it is acceptable and this is what we should use because, it's a magic or a miracle drug. It very well may be so. and perhaps in time it will come out like that. But for a scientific community to determine it, the different parameters they have to look for.
Abhay Soy,
Particularly,
Chairperson, Max Hospitals, for joining us on the Newstrack with your very valuable perspective. Thank you very much. I think the message going out from the pharma companies, from the hospitals is there is no need for panic. We know what we're doing. We can afford to export. We can ramp up internal production, take care of our own requirements, and ensure that everyone else is taken care of as well. Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kanwal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.